Welcome back to Tasmania's Footy Show. You're watching Tassie Rules for this Thursday night. Now, our next guest tonight would be familiar to many people, I suspect, around Tasmania, and those watching the show. He's been involved in Tassie footy for a number of years. Scott Bellinger, well, he's a coach and he's faced some enormous adversity and personal challenges for some time. He's battled cancer, mental health, addiction, and he's also a recovering alcoholic. He has a very powerful message gained from his own personal experiences in life. And you can see on your screen, he's heading over to Tasmania to speak at the Bracknell Football Club very shortly as well. We'll have more details later on in the show. But it's a great pleasure to welcome for the first time to our footy show, Scotty Bellinger, who's joining us. He's going to be down here in person early August. But g'day, Scott. Great to see you, mate. Thanks for coming on and sharing a little bit of your story.
Fantastic, Rick. Absolute pleasure to be here, mate. Pleasure to be here.
Now, before we get to providing some of the details of the upcoming event that we've got down here, let's start a little bit about your journey, if we can. Can you tell us, I guess specifically around the addiction and why you're trying to break that stigma that can sometimes be associated with addiction? How did this all come about for you and why you've got to this point now where you're really wanting to share your story to help others in the community?
Yeah, look, Rick, a set of circumstances, I guess, 2018 and 2019 in my life. I had the normal pressures of life that were happening, but, I received a bit of a curveball. Look, it happens in life, just with regards to a medical condition that I was diagnosed that, it came out of left field. It took me a little bit by surprise. Addiction's an awful thing for anyone to go through. And I guess at the end of the day, for me, it led to some pretty dark times in my life where, my way of thinking was that I could handle it myself. I could deal with it myself. And then, on top of that, with the medical condition that was thrown at me left field, it just took me really quickly to a very, very, very dark place. A lot of damage was done and a lot of mistakes were made. And I guess all of a sudden I started to do not so much a comparison, but, addiction for me, and I'm just telling my story. I'm not speaking from any qualifications. It's just my story. But for me, addiction is a disease. And, I was diagnosed in 2018 with some serious forms of cancer. And to me, that's a disease as well. The cancer is something that you can see, you can feel, you can touch, you can have some treatment for, and you can take that disease away. But the addictions, it's a little bit of a different beast, Rick. It's not something that's well known. It's not something that's well educated, and it's as serious as, if not more. So, the combination between the two led me to try and do the best I possibly can to educate people, teach them the warning signs, tell my story so that we can identify it, we can talk about it, and together, as a group, we can smash that stigma that's attached to it. The short story is that I was diagnosed with cancer and sympathy came my way. But as an addict, the stigma that's attached to it, the sympathy probably didn't come because of, I guess, the conditions that are attached to addiction.
What impresses me so much is that you're not speaking your background's not as a professional speaker. And you haven't studied for this. It is real life stuff and serious stuff that you've gone through with battles with obviously alcohol addiction and obviously your cancer battles as well. What can people expect to learn from your story?
Oh, look, Rick, all I do is I just tell my story as honestly as what I possibly can. And the message for me is that there may be someone that listens to that identifies with what I'm telling with regards to my story. And one of the most powerful tools is that, somebody that's been through what I've been through, sharing their experience, their strength and their hope, and someone identifies with that. Now, one of the things that people struggle to get their head around with this, Rick, is that I think it's the only actual condition that tells you don't have it. Everybody else picks up on the fact that you're struggling, and everybody else picks up on the destruction and the wreckage that you're causing. But, by talking about it and by sharing my story, there may be just one person that identifies that, wow, what this guy's talking about is how I'm feeling. It's what I'm experiencing. And if that one person identifies, they start to talk to somebody about it. It's a dark place to come from, Rick. So all I'm trying to do is just open up the light. All I'm trying to do is to smash that stigma that's attached to it. For me, somebody with addiction is as sick as somebody with cancer.
We'll come back to the event in a moment, but Scott Bellinger, our special guest here on the Footy Show. Scott, how's life for you now? You're obviously back in coaching circles, happy and enjoying life. But from a football sense, what are you up to now? Because as I said in the intro, there's a lot of people that know you down here and seen you when you were going through your dark times. But you're looking healthy, you're looking well, you're happy. What's Scotty Bellinger up to now?
Oh, I'm glad I got the looking healthy, Rick. I've dropped a few kilos, mate. I'm on a pushy, actually, as a matter of fact. Look, proud Tasmanian boy, love football, love your footy show. It's a great way to keep connected. Look, I pinched myself today. I'm in Brisbane. I'm attached to the Morningside Panthers. I'm in the female footy again. We've got a licence next year to go up to the quaffle level, Rick, and that's the pathway, obviously, to AFL. Just a completely different kettle of fish with an amazing group of coaches and a club that's just absolutely phenomenal. Keep an eye on what's going on in Tassie with regards to football.
Yeah, well, there's plenty of that.
Yeah, absolutely. There seems to be a lot going on there, mate. And I had just an amazing experience with the local AFLW team back there in my home state for a couple of years.
Yep.
And what an amazing group of young women they were. And they seem to be going from strength to strength. So that's absolutely phenomenal to see. Got my little business up and running with regards to smashing the stigma against addiction and just focusing on living life, to be completely frank with you, Rick. But look, at the end of the day, my passion for Tasmanian football and football clubs, football clubs are just an amazing place to be. The good ones have a culture of pulling people up, never pulling people down. I've been down and I've seen some dark times, and I've always stayed associated to football clubs and the ones that are there to pick you up when you're down and support you. I just can't think of a better environment. So, to be able to give back to any club that wants to do something right by the health and their well-being for their players, and to be able to educate them using my story, what a phenomenal opportunity.
There's nothing better than getting a real story, and kudos to you for wanting to share that. But we're going to just pop up as we wrap up, Scott, the details of the experience strength. You're coming to the Bracknell Football Club. It is a free event. All the details are there up on the screen now. And I guess this is not just an event for anyone who may be experiencing some problems themselves. I'm assuming as well this will really hit a market in terms of what are the warning signs. So for mates of mates at football clubs or in the community, it's not just for footballers.
Oh, absolutely right, Rick. Look, I think one thing that, just referring back to footy clubs, I think one thing that's changed dramatically is all the health and the well-being, and the mental health work that are being done, in this space. And I think we've had an amazing leap forward with regards to educating, people in general with regards to these topics. This is just another one to add to that. This is just another opportunity for people to hear a real life story. No holds barred, nothing to hide, to, I guess, work on smashing that stigma and understanding what someone with addiction might be going through. And if somebody is able to put their arm around somebody and ask them how they're going and have a little bit more education on this topic, then I've done what I've set out to achieve, mate.
Good stuff. We look forward to seeing you down there, Scotty. Nice to see you again, and look forward to catching up with you when you're down here in a few weeks' time in Tassie once again.
Thanks, Rick. Keep up the good work, mate. Cheers.
Appreciate it. Thank you. That's Scott Bellinger joining us